So I'm going to start with the Resoil. I've been talking about Resoil and somebody said, but I don't know what you mean by that soil. You are making us buy soil. It's not actually soil. Resoil is our premier product. The way we make Resoil, it is 100% organic. We are using the normal ingredients that we have. So, with Resoil, we have gotten a percentage of composite in it. This composite is made through vermiculture. We get the green, we feed it on worms, and the worms give us the composite. It's a process that can take over 2 months. Producing this. But everybody knows worms are very important for the soil. Yes. When we were young, if we were digging and you saw a worm, at times you didn't get scared. But God created a worm for a purpose. A worm is very important. It's moving in the soil, helping the aeration and everything. So we use the worms to produce for us the composite. Then we are also using manure. We are also using biochar. Biochar is the one known way in which we can recycle carbon. In life, God had intended that everything is being recycled. If it is water, I use the water, the plant will use the water, the trees will transpire, the water will go into the skies, then it will condense, then come back as rain. It's like a cycle. It should continue running. Now, biochar helps us to conserve the carbon cycle. If we have our green, our wood, we burn it into ashes, we lose out on the carbon that was there. Now, biochar, we are burning the green in a restricted oxygen environment that we leave in the carbon. So biochar is an ingredient of our Resoil. I know there are people who sell biochar alone. I think you have seen biochar in town. It's a good ingredient, but it's not all. Biochar in Resoil has a number of uses, but the two main ones. One, it's the one that conserves water. So as it rains, as you irrigate, it holds onto the water for a long time. And that's why you can irrigate twice in a month and your plant will still look healthy. The second part is something that I talked about, I think, earlier. The mycorrhiza fungi. There is a lot of science in the soil, and you don't have to be a scientist to know that. But these are like small servants that God had created in the soil to help the plant be able to absorb the nutrients in the soil and put them to good use. So the root system is created in such a way that it has spaces where the mycorrhiza fungi can lie. Now the plant will bring the rest from the oxygen limit, give it to this one, and this one gives back. So biochar is a good host for the mycorrhiza. It will grow very well. If you remember in our farming systems, our parents, if they cut like trees or whatever, they would chop them and put them in the garden. That's exactly what they were doing. But I think it's difficult for all of us to start chopping trees and putting them in the garden. So in biochar, we are able to achieve that important responsibility. Then our Resoil also contains 3 effective microorganisms. We have lactic acid bacteria, we have yeast bacteria, and phototrophic bacteria. These lactic acid bacteria, yeast bacteria, it sounds like a science class, but you have to have that background. I mean, I think some people might feel so bored, but at times you need, because someone is going to ask, what is special with your thing? You must be able to explain a little bit of the science. It's in the book, but you have to explain it. So you have lactic acid bacteria, you have phototrophic bacteria, and yeast bacteria. Now, naturally, in the soil, there are so many microorganisms that we cannot see. And some of them are harmful to the plant. Now, these 3, among the ones that have been isolated, are very important in conquering the other ones. It's like, if you know the white blood cells in the blood, you will have something like a disease cell coming in. They will fight the disease cell, they will overpower it, and occupy the territory. Now, these effective microorganisms, that's what they do. They will conquer, if there is any bad organism around, they will conquer it and occupy the space. And once they occupy the space, if you look at phototrophic bacteria, if you remember photosynthesis, the plant is getting its carbon dioxide, it's getting its water, and this whole process is taking place in the chlorophyll, in the stomata, if you remember all those science things. Now the phototrophic bacteria becomes very useful in the photosynthesis part of it. It accelerates the plant photosynthesis. And that's why in the end, you have a higher yield. Because someone might ask, how do I get, they are claiming 210 yield. They are claiming if I was growing dodo here, then I'm going to get more growth. How does that happen? The phototrophic bacteria accelerates the photosynthesis, and you are able to get more food in your plant. The other thing I talked about is that you apply it and it goes on for 3 years. When you are using organic products, they have the same ingredients as the inorganic ones. They will have nitrogen, they will have phosphorus, they will have potassium, they will have whatever is required also. But these ones are higher and they are released slowly. It's like a drip. It's sustained over a long time. So that's why you are going to apply it, and even in 3 years, it is still working without you applying again. Am I complicating any matters?
No, it's very okay.
I remember when we were at school, these were very complicated matters, and I kept asking, why are we learning about all these microorganisms? I wish I knew, because now I feel that I need to know more about the soil than probably I know about the blood. So, you apply your Resoil. When a farmer takes Resoil, the mixture is 1 to 10, and it's written on the container, 1 to 10. What does 1 to 10 mean? You have, let's say, 1 bag of 10 kilos of soil. You mix it with the top soil. Don't go beyond 40 centimeters when you are removing the top soil. Okay? The farmer you are selling this product to, you tell them you mix 1 to 10. Now 1 is this bag. Let's assuming that this bag is 10 kilos. So the farmer will have to mix with 100 kilos of top soil. When the farmer is picking top soil, they are going to that garden of theirs and they are picking the first 40 centimeters. But I think for the farmers, we tell them 30, because you never know, they can go too much. Yeah. So they pick only that top soil. They mix it. like how we mix the chicken feed or whatever. After mixing it, that mixture is what they apply. That is complicated, and that is where the challenge is with this product. So if somebody is growing bananas, like Henry, coffee, whatever, they are putting on the plant. Yes, they are getting 2 spades and putting around the plant. With time, it keeps spreading on its own. Okay? But if they are growing vegetables, they are going to spread. If they were growing maize, they are going to do it in a line. But they should not worry, it's going to keep spreading on its own. The first yield may not be spectacular, so different, because it's a slow releaser. But the second yield, they will notice the difference. And that's why when we are dealing with farmers, first we have to know, you were farming, how many kilos of beans were you getting from an acre? Oh, I was getting 1,000. So that we are able to say, after you have done Resoil, we should be able to see an increase with each season. It sounds miraculous. There is no miracle, there is no prayer. It's science. It's purely science because of the ingredients that it has. So, if you are applying in an acre, 100 kilos is enough. 10 bags. But we also have a bag of 25 kilos. So 100 kilos is enough. So if it's a smaller area, of course you do the same backward measurement. So, any questions about Resoil?
Oh, yes. Does the same quantity go to an orange plant also?
2 spades. Yes. So you will find that this bag here, it will work on about 55 oranges. This one bag.
Then another question is there any negative effect if it is under diluted, like putting less spades then it's applied on a plant?
I don't think it would be a good idea to put less, because there is like a recommended amount in a certain area where the plant roots are going. Because we are trying to make sure that the roots are able to absorb as much nutrient as they can. So why do you want to deny them the opportunity to do that? Unless if you really think that my land is virgin, it still has the ingredients, but that's what you have to do scientifically also. If you really think your land is good.
Actually, what I mean. Like,
and you want to put less, you want to save.
Actually, diluting less meaning making it more concentrated.
No. Don't over concentrate it. Following rules is a very important thing in everything. Even when we overfeed children, maybe that's why some of us now are the way we are. Yes.
And you say that you put 2 spades. So what is the estimate of kilos in a spade?
The spade, I'm estimating that a spade is about 2 kilos or 2 kilos and something.
It looks like you're estimating a spade to be 1 kilogram. Because you said it can be applied per plant about 2 kilograms. And you have also sort of 2 spades.
Spade is more than 2 kilos?
I don't know.
No. Sure.
I think we do at 1.5. Yes, 1.5.
Don't overfeed it to go pouring. Yes. We have a spade, but anyway, we can do that scientifically also. But you estimate 2 kilos. But I thought that farmers would find it difficult to go in 2 kilo system. But when you tell them spades, I think it's easier for me to know that 2 spades I'm done, 2 spades I'm done, 2 spades I'm done.
Cups.
Yeah, I think
Plastic.
100. No.
we use the farm tools. The spade.
I think the challenge for the vegetable growers especially, the idea of
Broadcast.
scraping the soil to do a good mixture, that's really difficult.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, because labor is very expensive in the villages.
You are doing it once in 3 years.
Yes, still I think it is.
Small area until you finish the farm of 20 acres.
Yeah, that one I see
It's work.
is going to be difficult to sell. It would be easier for those with bananas, with coffee, even maybe those with maize, the crops in lines, and they are putting in the lines, in between the lines. For broadcasting,
And be challenging.
yeah.
Okay, what we have done, you know that most of the vegetables we have here in the central region come from Nangabo. Of course, Nangabo is purely inorganic. They have to put a chemical on the seed. They have to put, once the seed goes in, they have to put chemicals. Even the day it's coming to the market, they put chemicals that it lasts long on the shelf. So we are working with some farmers in Nangabo. Because for them, they are planting daily. They must always have vegetables daily. So they go through, it's a pain. You are right, it's a pain. That's why I say it has its own disadvantages. It's a pain to do that. But after that, if it's a business, you are planting daily. It has some work, but it's once in the 3 years. I think once they say it's tiring, say once in 3 years. Yes.
Yes, I wanted to understand something. You said you can see better results in the second
Highly contrasting.
the second harvest. What if it's things like passion fruit, where you have already, like now it's already it's already fruiting, and you put it. How soon can you see the
Now,
the
for
result?
passion fruit, you are going to remember that each passion fruit has been giving me 10 passion fruits.
It is
in a
still
week.
starting. It's still starting. So
But there is somebody in your village who has ever grown passion fruit. Not so. I think by the time we decide that we are going to go into passion fruit, somebody said, a passion fruit can give you 2 passion fruits a week. Then you are calculating, okay, with 100 passion fruits, I'm going to be able to get 200 passion fruits. You are calculating your money. That knowledge is known somewhere. Now, when you apply it in the first season, you might see maybe like 3 instead of 2. But as the seasons increase, you start seeing extra numbers of passion fruits. Yes.
Thank you. There is something I seem not to understand. You said the application of Resoil is 1 to 10. That means 1 is that sack. Then how much soil is the other 10? As the farmers get that soil, the top layer of the soil. So what exactly amount
Now,
of soil?
I'm happy with your question now. If your one was 10, how much is the other one? If you had this little bag, how much would the other one be?
If my one
Was 10
is
kilos.
this one, then how much is the other?
No, that's what I'm asking you. Because you did mathematics. We are in the business of ratios. We are having 1 to 10. If your one is 10, what is the other one? So that means that we have to do a lot of mathematics in this business. If they bought 1 little bag of 100 kilos, of 10 kilos, they have to get 100 kilos of top soil. But remember that for an acre, they need 100 kilos of the soil. Okay? So they have 100 kilos of soil. There might be 10 bags, there might be 4 bags, depending on the quantities you have bought. So they also look for 1,000 of the topsoil. Then they do the mixing. And that is the part that is not exciting for any farmer. But those who have done it, it's a good thing because you did it once in 3 years. So 1 to 10, understood? There is somebody who has a smaller area. I'm growing my vegetables on 10 by 10 meters. They don't actually need the whole bag. 1 kilogram is enough for a tenth of an acre. So they are picking only 1 kilogram from their bag. They are mixing with 10 kilos of soil, then putting on that small plot. home. 1 to 10.
Okay. Have you tried Resoil on greenhouse? On greenhouse plants?
Us as a farm, no, but our customers, yes.
I would like to request that maybe you document how it worked, because I grow vegetables in greenhouses. Of course, we have our own the soil steaming to make sure that you
Sterilize it.
to sterilize it and so on. So I'm wondering how it would work, whether with the Resoil we still have to go through the same process, and since the life of the plant, the cycle in the greenhouse is about 9 months, 8 months, 9 months. Do we reuse the soil, because this is supposed to be good for 3 years? So I would like to understand that a bit.
Recent science is saying, I think you are following the science, maybe my friend knows better, that thing of steaming or boiling the soil kills the natural ingredients of the soil, although the aim is that it will kill the bacteria that is unwanted. Now, when Resoil comes in, it's the indigenous microorganisms of Resoil are fighting the other microorganisms that would have been in that soil if it is not boiled. Yes, that's the purpose. It's like you are bringing white blood cells in a contaminated area. But when your soil is already boiled, there is still no problem. You would apply this one, and it would still multiply the organisms that you require for your soil to function. We don't have all the literature on that, but we have customers who have taken them and have told Musa to record this one. We study that and have it documented.
Yeah,
But for the soil, you reuse it, even if you're using it for another crop. At least once it has not been used for 3 years, you keep using that same soil.
Let me go to application of the mixture. Once you have mixed, you said you apply about, let's say, 2 kilograms or 2 spades on the plant. And for the big plants, let me use that language, you've said you apply on the plant, around the plant. The question is actually how close? Because we know that, for example, like the artificial fertilizer in bananas, we'll use bananas as an example. For artificial fertilizer, they have been recommending to apply away, 2 feet away. Start from 2 feet away. So in this case, yes, it's around the plant, but how close, how far, and within what distance from the plant? Still on banana, I don't know for how long we have tested Resoil in banana plantation, so that you have data, concrete data, statistics of its effectiveness, both in terms of technical effectiveness, but also its impact on the yield and productivity. Because as I was trying to talk about it and what, two people told me, no, I'm tired of organic products. Maybe they are working for other crops, but not banana. How sure are we that actually, if I apply it in banana, it will work? Actually, this person one of the person was saying, he's tired of the artificial, the synthetic fertilizers, the NPKs and what have you. He would want to use organic, but his problem is assurance. Because he has also seen experiences of where organic has failed to work, especially on bananas. He wanted to say, okay, there's some two people who have convinced me on maize. They told me, no, not Resoil, but other organics. They used the organic in maize, that one has worked, but two others have also failed in bananas. So my concern actually is on bananas. What evidence do we have that on its effect on bananas? Then you said it can last for 3 years in the soil. But our soils are different, especially in terms of percolation, structure. You will have some areas where the soil is clay, therefore sticky, like here. But you will have also on the other side, leave alone sandy, but even granular, gravelly, stony, like that. So, is it the same in all types of soil? Especially where there are elements of leaching, like if you are in the stony, the gravelly soils, leaching is very high. So, how does this one reconcile with the different types of soils, especially with that longevity? And yes, then the last one is on that topsoil. Getting the topsoil. Not only in terms of labor, but I'm looking at, I have this area, and I'm going to remove, I'm going to remove 10 bags for 1 bag. I've created a small ditch, okay? Especially I'm looking at like in the plantation. I've created a ditch. And when I'm putting back, I'm not putting back what I removed. I'm spreading it. So, what about that imbalance of the, creating those, kind of like ditches? Where do you get the soil to replace where you have got that one from? I think that's another problem that I see.
For those people who may not know Dr. Imelda, the good thing is that we are talking to the people who are at the top of science in this country. Dr. Imelda is one of those highly ranked scientists we have in this country. She's the Deputy Director of the National Agriculture Research Organization.
Deputy Director General.
Deputy Director General, National Agriculture Research Organization. And she's the scientist that was behind the study on bananas, especially the nematodes that affect bananas. So she understands bananas so well. I think she breathes bananas and she understands bananas. And even in her own garden, she studies every banana that she plants. I visited her place. She knows every variety. She even records, we picked this banana, this is how we tested. So she's really an expert on banana. But she's also very well known for the work she did with the Irish potatoes. Before, we used to have, anybody would have an Irish potato, it became porridge or whatever. She's the person who was leading the team that studied the Irish potato and was able to give us a potato that is of commercial value for crisps, for chips, for anything. Those are the people behind that. And I think the apple one as well. She was the person behind the research on apples, that now we are able to grow apples like in Rukunjiri. There's a friend of mine who says money finds them at home. They are picking money from home because of apples. So she's a very well-known scientist.
I've been reading on newspaper
about her.
So
Yeah.
So much.
And she's the one who talked about, if you attended the agriculture show, she's the one who talked about the wonder bean with zinc, this last agriculture show.
Yeah.
The president called and said, come and talk to us about this, and she was shining and we were taking pictures of it. So that is the kind of person that we have, but we are happy to have her here because it enhances our model. So, in terms of spacing away from the plant, come in. So, in terms of spacing away from the plant, this product is organic. And the product, when you look at the way it works on the plant, it's working on making the environment around the roots favorable for the root to be able to absorb the required nutrients that it requires. So, looking at your plant, you need to have an idea of where your roots, you remember the primary root, secondary root, where those secondary roots are in doing that circle. It's the root zone. That's what you target, so that the roots start benefiting from its use. So that means that we have to do a little science now, us, to say if it is a maize. No, we are not going to put it on maize, we are going to put it in the line. If it is coffee, how is the root in terms of circumference? If it is, so that is a science. Musa, we need that. I think we can do for the common. We can look at the common plants, so that we give you a table of the root circumference, the radius for the different common plants. So that's a very good addition to our model. Now the issue of 3 years. 3 years.
With regard to different soil,
Yes.
soil profiles.
The 3 years thing is based on the slow release because it releases this slowly. Now the way Resoil is, it's like a soil binder which has like a porous nature again. So it conserves the water that it requires, but yet it can let the other one go. So as it goes in any type of soil, it also brings that soil together. So you might have a soil which is like porous and prone to a lot of leaching. Now what you are going to see, if you are really, I don't know if many of us are observant about our soils, it starts binding the molecules of the soil to give them the potential to hold on to certain things that you put in the soil. There is where you are going to irrigate today and you go in the afternoon, you find the plant has no water. Now Resoil comes in to do some kind of binding, like patching this soil to bring it together, but yet allow air to go through. But probably that's an area again where we need scientists to come in and say, let's do it on Sunday, let us do it on clay, let us do it on Rome, let us do it on rocky. Yeah, I think there is a lot of room for science in this particular area. We are already working with Kawanda, Dr. Tush, to give us the science part. We are farmers, definitely. There's what we don't know, and there are people for them it's very easy. So the research is continuing so that we provide a tailor-made product for the particular farmer. But in general, that's what it does. And this has been studied for a long time. At least in German, the literature is there, it has been done. Now, you talked about the ditches. We are saying 40 centimeters. You remember the small ruler at school? That ruler was 15 centimeters. So 40 is like 2 rulers plus something. But I have also said that maybe don't say 40. You know farmers, they can be too much on 40 or 30, if we say 30, which is 2 rulers. They can go picking like the top soil. She called it scraping, like scraping the top soil, so that they are not creating the holes where they are going to fall and break their leg. Then they say, your Resoil application has broken my leg. But again, what I have noticed with farmers, we have farmers in Masaka. The way they have done it, they have a place where they are picking the soil, which is not actually in the garden. They pick the soil from another area they are not using, do all this mixing, then take to their plants. I think farmers are a little creative, but I think ditches, of course, can make you break your leg.
Which we do, not with Resoil, but I think which is practical, because for every season you prepare your garden by turning the soil. So you do it like that, and then just bag what you need from that soil. So the soil is already soft and prepared for planting. You are not digging a hole to scoop out soil. So you take from what you've collected and then return in the same way. It
can be done, but now he's saying don't till. You have at least climate smart. You understand that? Because every time we are tilling, we are disorganizing the soil structure. We are affecting the organisms, and that's actually the background of us having Oga weeder. Oga weeder is the organic weed master, because the inorganics have their weed master, I don't know, weed killer, I don't know. They have all those brands. So the weed, our Oga weeder, helps to remove the weeds so that you are able to plant without much interference with the soil. You interfere with that hole where you are going to plant, but not the entire acreage. And you know we have that habit. Yes. All the children, all the tractors of the world, and the tractor takes the most important soil slightly away from the plant. But of course, that is a very good business for somebody. The more you take the nutrients away from the plant, the more you're going to require more urea, more inorganic. Yeah, because it won't yield well. Yeah. But at least the science is clear about zero tillage. If you can do without tilling, you will have a better product. But don't burn. Don't burn the grass, because when you burn it, we are losing on the carbon. You would rather cut it, make composite, or make a mulch, so that the carbon cycle is being completed. Remember the carbon cycle. Carbon cycle, water cycle, nitrogen cycle, cycles.
Looks like this system of collecting the soil to dilute the resoil is a problem.
It is.
What if there are existing plants? Haven't you tried to break it down in terms of applying direct to the plant? However little it is, below that plant it could be having enough loam soil, then you just mix direct.
No, I don't think it would be as effective. It's like telling somebody that you can lick sugar, 2 spoons, and then take a cup of tea. I mean, because they're actually taking 2 spoons in the tea anyway, isn't it? But when you mix the sugar in the tea and drink the tea, you actually feel nice. You know, too much sugar also is not very good. What if you put too much of the granules on one part and not on the other? Because every time you overdo it, because this is highly nutritious, you might even end up growing very many weeds. Are you aware? It has that, because it's too much food, that the weeds might enjoy themselves and they conquer your plant. I think respecting rules is also important in this area. Because this has been studied, these ratios have been studied, this mixing has been studied. And we are going to have more people studying this thing. We need more people anyway to study this thing. When we are in position financially, we are going to be having students whom we sponsor and say, go and study this at masters and see how it is working. I think we are very happy
Yes.
with the Resoil.